नमः सुन्दरनाथाय तस्मै हालास्य वासिने चतुष्षष्टिविधालीला येनाकारि भुवस्थले श्रीमत्सुन्दरनाथस्य देवीं शफरलोचनां कलये हृदये नित्यं कदम्बवनवासिनीं पूतं स्वतः पूततरं ततो यद्गाङ्गं पयः शङ्करमौळिसङ्गात् तत्पातु मातुः प्रणयापराधपादाहते पूततमं ततो नः अदृश्यत सहस्रांशुः अस्तभूधरमस्तके मन्देहयुद्धलब्धासृत्पङ्कदिग्ध इवारुणः अर्कमस्तं गमिष्यन्तम् उपेत्य अनुचराः कराः अन्वगन्वगलम्बन्त दुद्रोः ये पुरः पुरः निन्दन्तो रजनीं कोकाः नन्दन्तस्तां चकोरिकाः चञ्चूचञ्चवि सायान्ने सर्वतः सम्प्रजह्रिरे. In the beginning of the third Leela, there is a description of the merchant Dhananjaya, who was who is a great bhakta of Shiva. All he wanted was moksham. He wanted to just accumulate punyam as he was going along with his work. He did not do the usual things that all the Vaishyas do, the merchants do, as in of today. Not he was following the Manudharma Shastram, and I had also given some quotations from Manudharma Shastra. So he was following all those rules, and as much as possible, he was trying to do good to people, and he also was extremely devoted towards Shiva. His devotion towards Shiva excelled even his namesake, which is Arjuna. As he was going around, देशेषु विदेशेषु गत्वा तदनन्तरं यदा सः पुनः स्वग्रामं प्रति आगच्छन् आसीत् तदा सायङ्कालः प्राप्तः. So during evening time, usually when people travel in those days, because of facilities or whatever, even today with all these facilities, we try to avoid evening travel. Night, once the sun has set, we try to minimize our travel, because it's a time for rest and recuperation. You have to let your body recuperate from the day's activity, right? So the evening time and night time is for general calm and peace, so that your body can energize itself for the next day. So as this evening time is approaching, Nilakanta Dikshita, in keeping with the description, with the definitions of Mahakavyam, he starts the description of Sandhya, Surya Astamanam Sandhyacha. Tatra Prathamam Arkasya Astangamana Velayam, how the sun was. He described the sun in 2 shlokas, saying as it was going down, Astamana Kale, its Kiranam was also slowly trying to move behind it. It did not want to go. This is reminding us of how a Daridra would be, and how he will not, when he is a rich man, he will be surrounded by a lot of sycophants. And as he is in a declining position, Arkam Astam Gamishyantam Upetya Anucharaha Karaha Anvag Anvag Alambanta. இந்த தயங்கி தயங்கி நிக்கிறதுங்கிறதுல when they know that this person was a rich man and today they don't want to approach him because he is very poor, they know that there is no point in going to him. They will not benefit from his association, and in that manner how they will try to hang on to something and not follow him at all. Tatha atrapi anvag anvag alambanta karaha. There are pockets of light. If you see, as the sun goes down, it is not a one complete collapse of ball which goes in, right? You will find anganga and oru titti titta sila edangalla oru velicham irukum. This is like that, those anucharaha karaha tu tatra tatra sthitva anichaya anugachanti. They don't want to go with him, but it seems like they are just standing there and hanging on to something, some little bit, and then they try to go down. This is the description that, the observation of the Kavi is seen here, and how he is able to bring a loka vyavahara, jana vyavahara, in our samanya jananam vyavahara katham pratiyate, and how he is able to bring that picture in our mind. This is dhvani more than, and but the way he has described it, that Dudruvuhu, Anucharaha, these words give us the idea of people running. So it is more like an Alankara here, and that Alankara is called Samasokti. The next shloka that we saw last time was Nindanto Rajanim Kokaha, Nandantaha Tam, Chakorikaha. Night has come, or evening time. The night is going to come. So even before the night has come, during that dusk time, the kokaha, that is chakravaka birds, are scolding the night because they will be separated from their beloveds. They don't have their sight during the night. They will not be able to recognize whether their beloved is near them or not. So they will be experiencing grief during separation. Viraham. This is a Kavi Samaya Anumatam thing about Chakravaka. We don't know whether that is the reality or not. But as you read more and more Kavyam, you will understand that Chakravaka birds are like this. Chataka Pakshi is like this. It will always keep its mouth open towards the clouds and wait for the raindrops, and that is how it satisfies its thirst. It does not take water from somewhere else. These are all something that is described in the poetic world, and it is very common in the poetic world. So the Chakravaka birds also, they cannot see during the night, so they are blaming the night. And whereas the Chakorika, Kaumudi Jivanaha, there are some birds which only live with the moonlight, the Amritam that comes from the moonlight. They want the night, so they praise the night. Now these two set of birds are constantly fighting with each other, grabbing onto their beaks, it seems. The very similar to that. You have birds holding on to each other's beaks and fighting here. So Chanchu Chanchavi Sayan me Sarvata Samprajahrire. Neelakanta Dikshita has a way of bringing in the social situation that was there during the time that he lived. He is a very, very current poet in that manner, very reminiscent of Bhavabhuti. Now, Bhavabhuti is a person, even though he is writing about some Purana Kada, let's say he is writing about Uttarramacharitam, but the emotions that Kausalya or Janaka show would be like our grandparents here. That is how they will keep talking with each other. He will bring in the current situation, and he will portray his characters based on the current situation. Neelakanta Dikshita is another person like that. But his idea is always to bring in sarcasm. So this next shloka is one such example, is known for sarcasm. If you study if you read through his Kalividampanam or Sabaranjana Shatakam, Kindle Pervadi. அதுதான் அந்த கிண்டல்ல ரொம்ப பெரிய தேர்ச்சி பெற்றவர் அவர், இந்த நீலகண்ட தீட்சிதர். This shloka, nobody should mistake it. Prachukrushuhu dvijaha kechit apare maunamastitaha asanghato dvijanam iti asit tathyam tada vachaha. During the evening time, a significant action of the birds is some birds shout a lot. That is, they scream, they make a lot of noise. They call out, right? Dvijaha, kechit, some dvijaha, some birds, prachukrushuhu, krushanti, right? So they make a noise, crying. And krusha dhatu. Krusha is actually kroshati. Sorry, kroshati. Chukrosha is the lit lakara for that. So chukrushuhu, chukrosha, chukrushutuhu, chukrushuhu. So kroshati meaning அழறதுன்னு சொல்லலாம். You can use that word for crying or crying out loud. இந்த வரட்டு கத்தல்லும்போ, it's just screaming without tears there. So it can be a dry screech. That also is one of the meanings of this word. It can also mean just calling out. just ahvanam iti. So there are two meanings. Krusha ahvane rodane cha ityasti. So the meaning for krusha can be either ahvanam, calling out someone, or crying out loud, like screeching. So you take this to mean screeching for birds. So dvijaha kechit, some of the birds, prachutkrushuhu, they cried out, yet others, apare, maunam asthitaha. Some birds can be very timid, birds can be quiet, and the downtime vandurtu. So they are going to sleep now, and so they are already slowing down their sounds and they are being maunam. This is a common characteristic between anybody here, right? Some people, as the evening proceeds, because of overactivity, they can talk more, or they can loudly, they can be more loud, or they can actually go into their shell and be quiet. So, kechidvijaha prachukkrushuhu, some birds cried out, apare maunamasthitaha, some other birds were quiet. Dvijanam asanghatah iti वचः तदा तथ्यम् आसीत् एवं वचः वर्तते जनेषु श्रुतिः वर्तते there is a rumor or there is a statement among the people that birds are never in a group or द्विजानाम् असङ्घातः असङ्घातः तु समूहः there is always some even if you take it as one species this is common for anybody in the sense that you say you cannot box people, neither can you box birds. If there are 50 birds of one kind, even though they belong to one jati, still they will behave in different manner. Everything points out to vasana balam there. So asangataha ityukte, they are never behaving the same way on all days. So there is never a samyam between among the dvija, among the birds. So some birds will cry, some birds will be quiet. Or you can take it as dvijaha ityukte, some type of birds are crying, some type of birds like maybe kuil kattuma irukum, or kuil vandu, a cuckoo might be quiet, there might be crows which shout. So dvijanam asanghatah, you cannot categorize all birds to be the same. There is no commonality between the birds. Iti vachaha, these words became true at that time during that sandhya kalam. So these words, that is the janashrutihi yat vartate, dvijanam pakshinam tu tatra samuhe na bhavanti te samyam nasti iti ayam vachaha, idam vachaha tathyam abhut, satyam abhut. So it became true during that dusk. Now the word dvija means Brahmins. Now this is not to hurt anybody's sentiment, but this was a satire that Neelakanta Dikshita has written about Brahmins. Or even Kshatriya and Vaishya, because Dvijaha can mean both Brahmin, Kshatriya and Vaishya. All three of them do Sandhyopasana at the evening time. Now, because of the word Dvija, it gives us the idea of Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya. You can take it as Brahmana just for this thing. It can be all three. Okay. Now, Kechit Dvijaha Prachukrushuhu, they called out to the sun. So if you see the way they are doing Sandhyopasana, some people, they always like to vocalize their mantra. As they are doing Sandhyavandanam, they will openly say out the mantra, Achyutaya Namaha, whatever. No, they will constantly, openly call out to that particular Devata as if that Devata is going to be somewhere there and he has to shout out that mantra. And this is more like a show off also, to say that I am doing this Sandhyopasana and that people in the house should be listening to it. Or it can also be another way. There are so many people in this house who are not doing it and I am doing it. Let them at least benefit from hearing those words, hearing that mantra. Ityapi vartate. So there are sound waves, sound carries waves and it creates some sort of an effect in the people surrounding that area. So Skechit Dvijaha, some have this opinion that we have to say the mantras out loud. Prachukrushuhu, Ahwanam Akurvan. So mantrana uchchaihi uchcharya devata ahvanam chakru. Anyetu apare maunamasthitaha. No, they feel that, the mind is more powerful than words. Manas is inside and it is more powerful. If you are able to control that mind and do a dhyanam inside your mind and call the devatas in your mind, the mental waves are even more strong than the vocal waves. That's why even though there are people who are directly telling you, oh, you look so beautiful, but they are thinking that that jealousy or the negative waves are there, negative thoughts are there in the mind, that affects the other person even more than the words that come out of the mouth. The words may be just nice words, but if the intention is bad, then that intention will affect the other person also. So the mental thoughts are more powerful. So kech apare dvijaha tu maunam sthitva manasi dhyatva devataha ahvayanta. They called devatas. So ubhayathapi, there is a devata upasana that is going on there, right? So in a basic sense, given that Nilakanta Dikshita is a very sarcastic person, and he writes a lot of satire, so he would have said kechana brahmanaha tatra uchchaihi avadan kechana tu maunamasthaya atishtanna. Some were talking loudly, some were quiet. So this is the vadanti, the shruti, jana shruti, the rumor that Brahmins do not even go together. That is, they never stay in a group. They are never together. The சேர்ந்து எந்த ஒரு காரியத்தையும் பிராமணம் பண்ண மாட்டாங்கிறது ஒரு it's a very popular saying in popular rumor that we have, and people believed it in those days. We are talking about 1500s and 1600s here, right? Dvijanam brahmananam kshatriyanam va vaishyanam va tatra brahmananam iti eva brahmanaha eva svikaryaha ke yataha kshatriyanam tu tatra they usually got together because they have to fight. Their work was yuddham, so they fought. Maybe the Vaishyas were not together also because they used to, there is a competitive nature between them. It's just you take it at face value here. Do not give so much of meaning into it here. So dvijanam asangataha, Brahmins are never together. They never come together in a samuham. Iti vachaha tathyam tada asit. There is another hidden meaning also here. Sanghataha iti samohaha iti kevalam samohartena. Sanghato nama narakaha. There is a name, a naraka by name Asanghata. Sorry, Sanghata. So Dvijanam Asanghataha. Devata upasana krita iti karanat Brahmananam naraka praptihi nasti ityapi artha. So Nilakanta Dikshitara sadharanama eda potrukudadu. He is not a person who just dwells in these sort of normal talk like normal people. There is another, the podi vechu pesradhu, there is another inner meaning there where he says Brahmins never go to Narakam because they are constantly doing devata upasana vak kayena manasacha iti. Kechana tu vacha tatra devata upasanam kurvanti, kechittu manasa kurvanti, ubhayathapi tatra kayena kurvanti eva. Their actions are happening, and that sandhyopasana actions are there. So with their body they are constantly praying to the god. Manasa kechana tu vacha. So some people think about the god with their mind, some people think about the devatas with their words. So in all three ways people are doing it. So dvijanam yetu sandhyo upasanam kurvanti, those who do this upasana, for them there is no naraka prapti. There are 22 kinds of narakamo edo irukku. Yama has compartmentalized his world into 22 different constituencies probably. Each one will have a different kind of facilities there. So one thing is called pum nama narakat trayate iti putraha yasya putro nasti. Those who do not have children, they go to a naraka called pum. Here, Sanghata is another kind of Naraka. You'll have to go to Garuda Puranam to find out what is there. In Garuda Puranam, you have the description of each and every Naraka and what are the facilities that are available in that Naraka. So Sanghata is the name of another Narakam, and probably Upasanam ye na kurvanti te tu Sanghatam gachanti prayaha. We need to check that. I didn't have the time to check Garuda Puranam. So Prachukrushuhu, and this is called as Shabda Shakti Mooladhvani. Now, because we are also reading literature and we have been seeing a lot of alankaras, I've also talked about Dhvani before. Now, the Vyangyartha is more beautiful than the simple Vachyartham. The Vachyartham is just, okay, some birds are crying, some birds are quiet, birds are never the same because each bird is of a different variety. These words are very true. But if you look at the Vyangyartha, the first level Vyangyartha, which is a satire, which is a sarcastic comment on the group of one particular caste, or there is another level wherein you are actually praising that jati for doing this Sandhyopasana and that they will not attain Narakam. This Pratiyamanartham, this suggested meaning is more beautiful, and that suggestion comes from the balam of two words, which is Dvija and Asanghata. The words Dvija and Asanghata have two meanings, and so it gives rise to another aprakritam, aprastutam artham. Why do I say it is non-contextual? See, the situation here is our Dhananjaya is near Kadambavanam. Vanasya varnana avasaretu khagaha eva bhavanti natu brahmanaha. Brahmanaha tu, they will live in Gramam. They will not be in the forest which is very thick and extremely அடர்த்தியான அந்த காடு அங்க இருக்காது இல்லையா. நம்ம வந்து we are talking about several centuries or several yugams later than when Indra had built that temple. We have come a long way from when it was probably a very thriving locality near that temple and all that, or it was just a rahasyam temple which had gone where only the devatas are coming there and doing puja. So there you cannot find this sort of a community wherein some Brahmins are shouting or some Brahmins are calling out mantra ucharanam uchchaihi kurvanti and some of them are quiet. Tatha you cannot find a scene in the near the forest. If it is in the forest, then it can only be the story of birds. So the story of birds becomes your context here. And the story of this Brahmins that I was talking about becomes the non-contextual. At the same time, it is also Pratiyamanam. It is only through Vyangyartham that we understand this. So it is called Shabda Shakti Moola Dhvani. It is a Dhvani. It's a Dhvani. It's on a higher platform. Sadharana Shlokam na irukum. Sadharana Shlokaha tu vartante eva. Tadanantaram you have Shlokas which have Alankaras. And then there is a type of shloka wherein it gives rise to dhvani or some suggested rasam or alankara, something of that sort, or some idea. There is a dhvani there. If that suggested meaning is more beautiful than your vachyartham, we saw this in the first sarga where I explained about what is vastudhvani, alankaradhvani and rasadhvani. So when there is a dhvani which is more beautiful, it is of a higher cadre here. Prachukrushuhu dvijaha kechit apare maunamasthitaha asanghato dvijanamityasi tathyam tada vachaha. The next one is pratichyam dadrishaya ragaha sasthasyati kiyatchiram prachyam drishtacharo hyeshaha bhasvato brahmyatas sada. Bhasvataha ragaha Brahmyataha bhasvataha ragaha dadrishe. See this in the pratichi, that is in the western side, you see a color. You see a reddish color there because the sun is setting here. As the sun is setting, pratichyam ragaha dadrishe. Dadrishe is in this karmani prayoga and it is in lit lakara. Okay. Dadarsha ragam dadarsha. Janaha pratichyam ragam dadarsha or dadrshuhu. Janaihi pratichyam ragaha dadrishe. So in the western direction, in the western west, a redness was seen. Ragaha has two meanings again. Rakta varnaha or ragaha is an anuragaha. Preetihi. Preetihi drishyate. Pratichyam. In the western direction also, pratichi is in strilingam. I'm giving you clues also here. So this is also another samasokti that is going to come up. Pratichyam, simple meaning is pratichyam dadrishe ragaha. In the western direction, in the western side of the sky, a redness was seen. Ragaha dadrishe. A red color was seen. Raktavarnaha drishtaha asit. Saha raktavarnaha kietchiram sthasyati. How long is it going to stay there? It is not, it's only on the during that Sandhya Kalaha, Sandhya Kalinaha Ragaha tu Sandhya Kale eva drishyate. Kietchiram sthasyati. How long will it stay? Will it stay? Tishtati sthasyati. So how long is it going to stay? It will go off and it will vanish off into darkness as night approaches. But at the same time, you know, it will again come back, or it was seen before in the morning and then it was gone. Prachyam, in the east, drishta charaha. Charat is a pratyaya that you use for referring to bhutakalam. Bhutapurvaha drishtaha, it was seen before. Drishta charaha eva. Drishtaha asit is it was seen once. But when you use drishta charaha, there is a pound of punyam that is mentioned there. So, பார்த்ததுதானே அப்படிங்களா? It was after all seen in the morning in the eastern direction. Now it has come to the west. So what is the big deal here? So that's the idea that comes out when you use the charat pratyaya there. So drishtacharaha eva bhramyataha sada bhramyataha bhasvataha ayam ragaha eshaha ragaha prachyam drishtataha eva. This color eshaha ragaha Brahmyataha bhasvataha, which belongs to the sun that is roaming constantly. Sada brahmyataha bhasvataha. Bhaswan, bhaha asya asti iti bhaswan, one who has a prakasha, which is suryaha. Suryasya sada brahmyataha, sada parikramamanasya tasya bhasvataha, suryasya eshaha ragaha prachyam drishtataraha hi. It was seen earlier in the east, right? Now it is being seen in the west. Kietchiram sthasyati. So how long is this going to stay? There is another idea here. One is pratichi and prachi are in strilinga padam. Ragaha is a anuragam that the nayaka shows towards the nayika. Assume that the pratichi and prachi are nayika here, and Surya is your nayakaha, and he shows an anuragam towards pratichi right now. He shows he has an attachment towards pratichi now. But how long is that attachment going to be there? We saw that he was attached to Prachi towards the east in the morning, right? But now he is showing his attachment towards Pratichi. He keeps going back and forth like this because he is constantly moving around. So this is like a Nayaka who is moving from one person to another person constantly. Sada Brahmanashilasya kasyachit purushasya ayam vyavaharah iva drishyate. तर्हि तस्य रागः यः अनुरागः तस्य वर्तते नायिकायाम् एकस्यामेव नायिकायां न वर्तते किन्तु नाना नायिका प्रति तस्य अनुरागः वर्तते. So this is a vyavahara. This gives rise to the story of one Nayaka who keeps wavering between two women here, right? He has an attachment towards two women and he keeps going back and forth. So this is another samasokti alankara wherein the words raga and bhramyataha, these have two meanings and gives rise to the nayika vyavahara, nayaka nayika vyavahara. So it is a samasokti alankara. Pratichyam dadrishe ragaha. a color, red color was seen in the west, how long is it going to stay? Kiyat chiram saha sthasyati? Prachyam drishtataraha eshaha sada bhramyataha bhasvataha eshaha ragaha prachyam drishtataraha asit drishtataraha hi. Wasn't it seen in the east in the morning, right? Pratichyam dadrishe ragaha sasthasyati kiyatchiram prachyam drishtacharo heshaha bhasvato brahmyataha sada. Next is pranashte mahasam rasho pradurubhutam pradurubhutam hi tarakaihi tamasa abhyavrite loke tavadbhirapi kim kritam. Pranashte mahasam rasho. Mahasam rasho pranashte sati. Now this Surya astamanam jatam atra tirohitam abhut pranashte. When sun has destroyed in solakudadu, when it has disappeared. So pranashta here does not mean completely nashtam, destroyed. Tatha arthaha na swikriyate. Kintu you take it as tirohitam abhut. Tirohitaha jataha suryaha. Mahasam rashihi. Mahasam mahasa mahaha mahasi mahamsi is tejas. So the great heap or mass rashi of luster, of brilliance, of light. Mahasam rashihi rashau pranashte sati. When that great mass of luster, which is the sun, had vanished, pranashte sati. Now we need light here. Tarakaihi pradurbhutam. The stars appeared. This is in Bhave Prayoga. Tarakaihi pradurbhutam sputitam. They also appeared here. All the nakshatras appeared here. Now, when this entire world is completely covered by darkness, what can these small tarakas do? Can it show light to the world which is completely covered by darkness? These are all small objects in the these are just small objects which cannot show that much of light. So before the Chandrodaya, you have the Tarakanam Pratitihi Tatra Vartate Akashe. So Tarakaihi Pradurbhutam, these are just small prakashas that can be found there. But this is not capable of removing the entire andhakaram that is there in the world. When this great ball of tejas, a ball of prakasham, light is gone, has disappeared, it has vanished from the world, and the nakshatras have come out, the stars are shining. What can be done by these small objects, even though they are lustrous? Tavadbhirapi. Tavadbhihi ityukte tavat parimanam, alpa parimana yuktam, alpa prakasha yuktaihi tarakaihi. Loke tamasa abhyavrite sati. When this entire world is covered by tamas, by andhakaram, tavat parimanaihi prakashaihi alpa prakashaihi tarakaihi nakshatraihi kim kritam. What can be achieved to remove? How can this tamas be removed by these small nakshatras? Na kimapi kritam. Nothing was possible by them. That that darkness which was there in the world was still present in the world. Now this also gives rise to another beautiful vyavaharam of an ajnana upahita. Think about it in terms of Advaita Vedanta. Prakriti Varnanam is going on, but it gives rise to a person when that entire, we are all ever present with that Atma Jyotis in our mind. When that Atma Jyotis vanishes, not vanishes, but it is covered. There are two Shaktis for Tamas. Tamas is also Ajnanam. Ajnanam is the ignorance that covers our Atma. And that Ajnanam has two work. One is to cover, Avarana Shakti. The other is Vikshepa Shakti. It has the power of making that object show us in different manner. That is, we think that this deham is Atma, we think that this manas is Atma. So that Ajnanam has the power to show that Atma in different ways. So that is the Shukti Rajas Madri. So when the Rajatam, Shukti is a shell. The Ajnanam, our dosham, covers the shell. It not only covers the real nature of the shell, it also portrays the shell as silver to us because of on the glare that there is a dosham that is there in our eyes, which makes us first not understand the real nature of the shell. It also makes us to think that it is something else, it is silver. So our ajnanam that we have, it not only covers our atma jyotihi, it also shows us presents the atma as something else. Okay, now here think of this surya as a sun, as that atma jyotihi. So atma jyoti rupam brahma yadi na jnayate, if it is completely covered by ajnanam, all of these people are also ajnanena avritaha bhavanti, yadi atma jyotihi na jnayate. If that Swayam Prakasha Swarupa Brahma is not known, then people are completely covered by, then it means that people are completely covered by Ajnanam. This Atma Jyoti, that Atma Jnanam, comes about in the form of certain small Laukika Jnanam like these nakshatras. There are so many different small knowledge. We think that, oh, if we learn this, then we become more intelligent. If we learn computers, we become more intelligent. If we learn Ayurvedam, we become more intelligent. Iti tatra tatra laukika jnanam vartate nakshatravat. There are so many different knowledges present in the world. And we think that that is what is the ultimate knowledge. But can this ajnanam be removed by all these small laukika jnanam? Nothing can be done with these things. So tavadvihi eva kim kritam. What has been done to remove that ajnanam by all of these small knowledges that we have been accumulating over years? Right from the time that we were born, we have been taught something or the other in the name of intelligence, in the name of jnanam. But that has done nothing to remove the Mula Ajnanam or Tula Ajnanam that is there, which is covering the Jivatma. So this idea is brought out very beautifully. And so you can compare the Surya to Brahman, and you can compare this Tamas, Andhakaram, to the Ajnanam that we have, and comparing the Taraka, Nakshatrani, to the Laukika Jnanam that we have. So this gives rise to something called an Alankara Dhvani, which is Upama Dhvani. You're doing an Upama comparison. It is not a direct Iva, iti nasti tatra, vachyarthe, kintu vyangyarthe, pratiyamanarthe. In the suggestion, we can extrapolate and say that this comparison is happening here. So the comparison is actually happening in the suggestion level. So it is called an Alankara Dhvani. Aupamyam dhvanyate tatra. Pranashte mahasam rashav. Pradurbhutam hi tarakaihi. Tamasa abhyavrite loke. Tavadbhirapi kim kritam. The next one. Te eva bhanavo bhanoho. Taraka vapusha sthitaha. Tathapi ekaha sanasti iti tamamsi vijajram dhire. Te eva bhanoho bhanavaha. Bhanuhu karaha marichihi. Bhanuhu hamsaha sahasramshuhu tapanaha savita ravihi. Amara Koshe, if you look at the Paryayavachi Shabdas for Bhanu, Bhanoho, Bhanuhu, Hamsaha, Sahasramshuhu, Tapanaha. I don't think I gave that quotation. So the quotation here is Bhanur Hamsa Sahasramshuhu, Tapanas Savita Ravihi. It is 1-3-31. So the different words for Surya, there are some 33 words that he has given. If you go to Surya Shatakam, he will give you another 33 more words for Surya. He has given words that are not even present in the Amarakosham. He has coined words and given. Bhanur Hamsaha Sahasramshuhu Tapanaha Savita Ravihi. So Ravihi, Surya, Savita is also Surya, Bhanuhu is also Surya. Bhanuhu also means rays of the sun. Bhanuhu karaha marichihi. This is given in the 33rd shloka. So Bhanuhu karaha marichihi didhitihi. These are all different words for Surya's rays. So Bhanoho bhanavaha te eva bhanavaha. the same prakasham, the light of the sun is now seen in the garb, in the disguise of Taraka, in the form of Taraka. So what it's only the Surya's prakasham that these nakshatras take, and they are all luminescent because of the sun there. Otherwise, we won't be seeing. They don't have a light of their own. The sun's light makes the stars and the moon shine here. So Banoho Bhanavaha Te Eva. So in the 16th century, he knew how this acted here. Banoho Suryasya Bhanava Te Eva Bhanavaha. The same rays, it is those rays of that sun that stand in the form of stars. Taraka Vapusha Stitaha. Vapuhu Sharirena. Tarakanam Sharirena Eva Vidyamanaha Asan. It's the same thing. But there is a difference there. Tathapi saha ekaha nasti iti karanat. Saha ekaha ityukte saha suryaha ekaha nasti na prakashate iti karanat tamamsi vijajrambhire. Vijajrambhire they vijrumbhanam prapahu. They enveloped the entire earth. They started growing. Vijrumbhatena vijrumbhanamna, they are growing. The darkness starts growing because that one person is not there. Surya, who is the Chaitana Vastu, or who is the Devata behind these rays, he is the one. If he is not present, then the rays cannot do anything there. If the Chaitanyam, I didn't even think about that. If the Chaitanyam is not present, just the Angas cannot do anything. Right? Yeah. I think it's left to the Sahridaya to think about other things also. Anyway, so Te eva bhanoho bhanavaha taraka vapusha sthitaha. It is those rays of the sun which are standing as stars. Yet darkness kept on spreading. Tamamsi vijajrambhire. Tamas in different formats. So you have plural here. It started spreading everywhere because that one Surya was not present. Saha ekaha na asti iti karanat. Hetvartaha iti shabdaha. Because that one Surya was not present, tamas kept on increasing. Teva bhanavo bhanoho tarakavapusha sthitaha tathapi ekaha sanasti iti tamamsi vijajrambhire. Prayo Jatyanurodhaya. Maybe I'll take this during the next session. If there are any questions, I will. Solunga sir. Namaskaram.
Yes, ma'am. இப்போ கடந்த 6 ஸ்லோகமா சந்தியா காலத்துல சூரிய அஸ்தமனம் நடக்கும்போது என்ன நடக்குதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு வராரு இல்லையா? ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வேர்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் சஞ்ச்வா சஞ்ச்வி மூலமா சண்டை போட்டுக்கிறது. அதுக்கு அப்புறமா விஜானாம்
சங்காதஹ.
சங்காதஹ. அதுல என்ன சொல்றாருன்னா, பறவைகள் எப்பவுமே ஒரே மாதிரி குரல் கொடுக்கறது இல்ல. சில பறவைகள் அமைதியாகும், சில பறவைகள் கத்திக்கிட்டும் இருக்கும் அப்படின்னு சொல்ல வர்றாரு. அந்த இடத்துல அவர் எதை கோட் பண்ண விரும்புறாரு கரெக்டா? பிராமின்ஸ் வந்து எப்பவுமே ஒரே யூனிஷன்ல பேசுறது இல்லைன்னு சொல்ல வர்றாரு. ஏதாவது அந்த காலத்துல பழமொழி இது மாதிரி ஏதாவது இருந்திருக்கும்?
பழமொழிங்கிறத விட யூசுவலி எப்படி சொல்றது, விதவுட் ஹர்ட்டிங் எனி பர்டிகுலர் காஸ்டோட சென்டிமெண்ட், இட் இஸ் டஃப் டு எக்ஸ்பிளைன் தட். ஆனா அந்த காலத்துல வந்து ப்ராபப்ளி தேர் வாஸ் an unrest among unrestங்கிறத விட ஒருத்தர் இன்னொருத்தருக்கு வந்து கை கொடுத்து ஹெல்ப் பண்ணி அந்த மாதிரி பண்றதுக்கு பதிலா அவ சமூகமா எதையுமே சேர்ந்து பண்ணதில்லை அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி அவருடைய ஒரு தாட் ப்ராசஸ் அந்த டயத்துல.
Always they differ in their opinion and standpoint.
Differ in their opinion. ஒருத்தரும் எப்ப பார்த்தாலும் சண்டை போட்டு இருப்பானுங்க அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி அவர் வந்து சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தாரு அன்னைக்கு. மேபி இட் வாஸ் நாட் த நார்ம், பட் இட் குட் ஹவ், he could have seen it among, ஏன்னா say all said and done, he was a prime minister in the sabha of a king. அந்த ஒரு கிங்கனுடைய அந்த தர்பார்ல வந்து when there are a lot of people coming into that darbar, they want the attention of the king. So they will try to climb over the other person and try to get the attention of the king. So they will never do things as a group. Teamwork கிடையாதுங்க, எல்லாம் சிங்கிள் பிளேயரா இருந்தா.
ஓகே, நெக்ஸ்ட் ஸ்லோகால இந்த பாஸ்வதஹ அது அந்த வார்த்தையை கொஞ்சம் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணு.
பாஹ அஸ்ய
பாஸ்வதஹ
அது 6th கேஸ்ல இருக்கு, ஷஷ்டி விபக்தி. So brahmyatah, brahmyan, brahmyanto, brahmyantah, that is in shatru pratyayam. Sada brahmyan bhaswan அப்படினு பிரதமா விபக்தியில எடுத்துக்கோங்க. So the sun which is constantly moving, the moving sun அப்படிங்கறோம் இல்லையா, gerund அந்த இடத்துல சத்ரு பிரத்யம். So bhaswanங்கிற பதத்தை if you take the etymological derivation of that word, bhaha bhasau bhasaha, bhasaha asya santi iti, the one that has a lot of prakasham, bhahana prakasham னு அர்த்தம்.
ஓகே, நெக்ஸ்ட் ஸ்லோகால பிரதீச்சி சொல்றாங்க இல்லையா, அது சரியா அந்த ஸ்லோகம் புரியல மேடம். அது என்ன அனுராக ராக, அது எங்க எப்படி கம்பைன் ஆகுது? ராகனா
என்ன அர்த்தம்? கலர்னு அர்த்தம். கலர். ராகஹானா அட்டாச்மெண்ட்னு ராகத்வேஷம் சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, அட்டாச்மெண்ட்ங்கிற இன்னொரு அர்த்தம் இருக்கா இல்லையா? அப்போ பிரதீச்சி கிட்டக்க ஒரு அட்டாச்மெண்ட் இருக்கு, ஒரு ஆசை இருக்கு அப்படிங்கிற அர்த்தம் நமக்கு தோணலாம் அந்த டபுள் மீனிங்னால.
இல்ல, அவர் என்ன சொல்றாருன்னா காலையில பார்த்ததுல நாமளும் சாயங்காலமும் பாக்குறோம்.
இது எத்தனை நாள் பெருசா இருக்க போறது? இது எத்தனை நேரம் பெருசா இருக்க போறது இந்த ராகம்? இன்னைக்கே சாயந்தரம் பாக்குறோம், கொஞ்ச நேரத்துக்கு முன்னாடி தான் கார்த்தால பார்த்தோமே, அத எத்தனை நேரம் பெருசா இருக்க போறது இது, அவ்வளவுதான் சொல்றாரு அவர். நம்ம எவ்வளவு அதுல இருந்து எக்ஸ்ட்ராபுலேட் பண்ண முடியும்? அந்த சூரிய அஸ்தமன சமயே ஒரு there is a redness that is spreading across the sky இல்லையா? It is there only in the western direction when the sun sets, but when the sun is rising there is a redness in the eastern direction. அவ்வளவுதான் அவர் டிஸ்கிரைப் பண்றார். புரியுதா இல்லையா?
கொஞ்சம் புரியுது, ஏன்னா லிட்டரல் மீனிங் புரியுது, ஆனா அது என்ன எக்ஸாக்ட்டா மென்ஷன் பண்ண வராருன்னு தான் புரியுது.
ஓகே, சோ எக்ஸாக்டானா இன்னும் ரொம்ப ஓவர் திங்க் பண்ணக்கூடாது, சிம்பிளிஃபைடா பண்ணிட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் வெங்கியார்த்தத்தை யோசிக்கணும். திங்க் ஆஃப் இட் இன் 2 levels. Whenever you interpret some description like this, do not go deeper. First, understand what is the vachyartham here. What is the vachyartham? What is the plain meaning here? Pratichyam ragaha dadrishe. In the western direction, as the sun is setting, there is a redness that we see. இருக்கா இல்லையா?
Redness was seen by people during morning time.
Wasn't it seen during morning time also?
Yes.
How long is it going to stay? During the morning time, when the redness was seen, it slowly became white or yellow or white completely, and that redness had vanished. In the same way, during the evening also, this redness is also going to vanish after some time into darkness. அப்படிங்கிறது தான் plain meaning. காலம்ங்கிறது ஓடிண்டே இருக்குங்கிறத சொல்லிட்டு வர்றார். காலச்சக்கரம் மாறுறது உங்களுக்கு. பட் இது காவியம்ங்கிறதுனால நம்ம ஒரு வெங்கியார்த்தத்தை எடுத்துக்கிறோம். அந்த இடத்துல ஒரு நாயிகா நாயக பாவத்தை போட்டு அந்த ஸ்திரீலிங்கம் புல்லிங்கம் யூஸ் பண்றதுனால we imagine that he is trying to probably give us the idea of a nayaka who is moving from one lady to another lady.
Okay. சூரிய அஸ்தமனத்தையும் உதயத்தையும் அவர் இந்த மாதிரி சொல்லுவாங்க.
அவ்வளவுதான். ஓகேயா? சரி. Any other questions? Observe. Hello.
Something you said regarding Vijri Jimbire, the presence of that the effulgent one is. You thought about it for a second and enjoyed it, and I didn't fully keep up with you.
இல்ல, அது எனக்கே நான் அப்படி கொஞ்சம் யோசிச்சேன்னா, see this, இந்த வெங்கியார்த்தம் வரும் பொழுது when I am trying to extrapolate some suggested meaning, sometimes as I am teaching I was thinking of something, but then I was trying to see if it will fit. It didn't fit much. ஏன்னா தேவ பானோஹோ பானவஹ தாரகாவபுஷா ஸ்திதாஹாங்கிறச்சே எப்படின்னு தெரியல. ச ஏகஹா நாஸ்தி சேத்து தமாம்சி விஜృంభిரே அப்படிங்கிற இடத்துல when that one பிரம்மஸ்வரூபம் இல்லைன்னா, ஈஸ்வரன் இல்லைன்னா, அப்போ அந்த தமஸ் வந்து எல்லா இடத்துலயும் விரிஞ்சு இருக்கும் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி யோசிச்சுட்டு இருந்தேன். Or when a bodyல வந்து when the chaitanya swarupam is not there, then there is only jadatvam that is there constantly in the body. If that spark is not present, அப்படின்னு இந்த second line யோசிச்சு.
Even the word meanings disappear.
அதான். அப்படின்னு I was thinking probably only in the second line. First lineல வரல.
I like that the presence of Chaitanyam is the very reason everything is lightened.
There is knowledge everywhere because of that Chaitanyam. Otherwise there is only இருட்டு தான் இருக்கு. ஜடம் தான் எல்லா இடத்துலயும்.
Very powerful implication அது. எல்லாத்துலயும் அவர் தான் இருக்கார் அப்படிங்கிறது அத இன்னொரு விதமா தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறோம்.
ஆமா. இந்த இதுல கூட சூரிய சதகத்துல வந்து 2 விதமான கண்ணுன்னு சொல்லுவார். அத தீவிரம் நிர்வாண ஹேதோஹோ யதபிச்ச விபுலம் யத் பிரகர்ஷேண சாணு பிரத்யக்ஷம் யத் பரோக்ஷம் எதபி, அதாவது ஜெகதி கதிபயே யோகினோ யத் விதந்தின்னுட்டு அவரை வந்து பிரம்மஸ்வரூபமாக சொல்றார் சூரியனை அதுல அந்த ஸ்லோகத்துல.
Wonderful. I'm so glad that I have been celebrating Surya in my heart.
Shankari Mahodaya.
Thank you.
Namaste Mahodaya. Mahasam Rashau ityukte kah arthah?
Mahaha tejaha. So Mahasam tejasam rashihi punjaha. So a group of prakasham, which is like, it is like ஒரு heap, ஒரு பந்து மாதிரி யோசிச்சுக்கோங்க. மகான பிரகாசத்தினுடைய ஒரு குவியல்னு அர்த்தம். மகசாம் ராஷௌ திரோஹிதே சதி பிரணஷ்டே சதி. तत्र सूर्यस्य अस्तमनम् अगमत्, सूर्यः अस्तमनम् अस्तङ्गतः इति. ओके,
अस्तु महोदय. सूर्येण तमसः दर्शनं कर्तुमेव न शक्यते इति कुत्रचित् श्रुतवती.
ஆமாமா, இருட்ட பார்க்க முடியாது அப்படின்னு. He wanted to see அப்படின்லாம் ஏதோ இருக்கு, ஒரு கதை ஒண்ணு சொல்லிட்டு இருப்பா. அதுக்கு வந்து இருட்ட பார்க்கணும்னு ஒரு ஆசை வந்தது அப்படின்லாம் ஏதோ ஒரு கதை உண்டு, எனக்கு ஞாபகம் இல்ல. ஏதோ இருட்ட பார்க்கணும்னு சூரியனுக்கு ஆசை வந்தது அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி ஏதோ ஒரு கதை ஒண்ணு சொல்லுவா. எனக்கு I don't know properly what it is, so he can never see.
काचित् भगिनी मां पृष्टवती, लक्ष्मी माया एव किल वैकुण्ठे एष किं महाविष्णुः चैतन्यं ब्रह्मस्वरूपं तत् वैकुण्ठे माया न भवति इति अस्ति किल, तर्हि कथं लक्ष्मी भवति?
वैकुण्ठे माया नास्ति वा?
माया यत्र एषः महाविष्णुः यत्र अस्ति तत्र माया न भवति इति.
न ईश्वरन, அது வந்து it depends on what is the system that you are following. If you are following Advaita system, then ஈஸ்வரங்கிற பதம் வந்துட்டாலே the nomenclature samjna ஈஸ்வரஹ இத்யுக்தே there is a brahmaswarupam and there is a maya with it. இதுல சௌந்தர்ய லஹரியில கிராமாஹுர் தேவீம் துருஹிண கிரீணீம் ஆகமவிதோ ஹரேஃப் பத்னிம் பத்மாம் ஹர சஹச்சரீம் அத்ரிதனயாம் துரியா காபித்வம் துரதிகம நிஸ்ஸீம மகிமா மகா மாயா விஸ்வம் பிரமயசி பரபிரம்ம மகிஷி. விஸ்வம் சிருஷ்டின்னு வந்துட்டாலே then it means the chaitanyam atma jyotihi, which is brahmaswarupam, has become associated with maya and it exists with the maya. So Vishnuங்கிற பேரை கொடுத்துட்டாலே, when you, the moment you give nama roopam, it means it has come within the realm of maya. Even Vaikuntham is within the realm of maya for Advaitins. Vishishta Advaitiya எடுக்கும் பொழுது தத்ர மாயா நாஸ்தி இத்யுக்தே நமக்கு இருக்கக்கூடிய தூல அஜ்ஞானம், Every jiva has one ajnanam which covers his Atma Swarupam. That ajnanam is gone. Lakshmi வந்து அது மகாமாயா, அது போகாது. And that Shakti is ever present. And she is Anapayini, Vishnoho Anapayini Shakti. Vishnuwa காட்டிலும் அது விலகாமல் இருக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு சக்தி அவ. அதனால அவ இல்லாத எதுவுமே கிடையாது. நமக்கு விண்ணப்பம் கொடுக்கணும்னாலே விசிஷ்டாத்வைத்தம் படி பார்த்தோம்னா we have to approach Lakshmi. Lakshmi will only give that அந்த மனுவை வந்து விஷ்ணுட்ட கொடுக்கணும். Without Lakshmi, nothing can go directly to Vishnu there. You cannot circumvent Lakshmi at all in Vishishtadvaitam. அவதான் சமயம் பார்த்து அப்படி அப்ளிகேஷன் பகவான்கிட்ட கொடுப்போம்.
சூரியஸ்ய பிரபா இதி சூரியஹ ராமஹ பிரபா சீதா இதி
எல்லாமே அதுதான் சொல்ல கிராமாஹுர் தேவீம் அந்த அந்த ஸ்லோகத்தை படிச்சேன்னா உங்களுக்கு புரியும். துருஹிண கிரகிணினா, துருஹிணானா பிரம்மா, பிரம்மா பத்னி யாருன்னா சரஸ்வதி. சோ பிரம்மாணி ஒரு சக்தி, பிரம்மா பத்னி சரஸ்வதி, கிராம் தேவி, வாக்குக்கெல்லாம் தேவியா இருக்கக்கூடிய சரஸ்வதி ஒரு அம்சம். ஹரே பத்னி பத்மா. சில பேர் வந்து ஹரியினுடைய பத்னியாக லக்ஷ்மியாக சொல்றா, சில பேர் கிரீஷனுடைய பத்னியா பார்வதியா சொல்றா. ஆனா நீ யாருன்னா இந்த பிரம்மாண்டத்தை ஆதாரபூதமாக இருக்கக்கூடிய பிரம்மன், அந்த பிரம்மனுடைய பட்ட மகிழ்ச்சியா நீ இருக்கம்மா அப்படின்னு அம்பாள் அங்க வந்து சக்தி ஸ்வரூபமா சொல்றோம். அதான்.
धन्यवादः महोदय। भवती एवं यदि न वदति, यदि न अवदिष्यत्, सामान्यतया वयं श्लोकं पठामश्चेत् एतादृश अवगमनं न भवत्येव। उत्तमरीत्या तत्र प्रत्येकश्लोके अपि व्यङ्ग्यार्थः सर्वं सम्यक् आनयति। धन्यवादः।
என்ன சொல்ற?
ஒண்ணுல வியங்கியார்த்தம்லாம் எடுத்து அழகா சொல்றீங்களா, அவ்வளவுதான். அதெல்லாம் ஸ்துதி, நீங்க விட்டுருங்க.
स्तुति नास्ति, वास्तवमेव वदामि। वास्तवम् एतद्, अहं स्तुतिं न करोमि।
பிரம்மன்
தெரிஞ்சத சொல்றேன்.
धन्यवादः महोदय।
பிரம்மன் சொல்லும்போது absence of disturbance. Brahman, when there is a disturbance and when he says let me create something அப்படின்னு அப்படி ஆரம்பிக்கும் போது அங்க வந்து ஈஸ்வரன் அண்ட் மாயா ரெண்டும் பிரிஞ்சிடுறது. அங்கதான் இந்த polarization when it starts,
then it
becomes the multiplicity starts
correct. Yes. சரி, நம சுந்தரநாதாய தஸ்மை ஹாலாஸ்ய வாசினே சதுஷ்ஷ்டி வித்யாலீலா ஏனாகாரி புவஸ்தலே.
கிறிஸ்டல் ஃபீல்ட் தியரின்னு சொல்லிட்டு கெமிஸ்ட்ரியில படிப்போம் நாங்க.